Has the part arrived? Anna's firm voice shattered the silence of the showroom. Everyone turned toward the woman in grease-stained boots, her face carrying the marks of a sleepless night of work. Fuel pump for a Mercedes C63 AMG. The receptionist, in a spotless white blazer, arched an eyebrow as if she'd just heard an insult. You came through the wrong door, sweetheart. This isn't a junkyard. Polished marble gleamed under the cold light. Leather chairs exhaled the smell of money, and the woman's eyes seemed to push Anna out the door. People like me? Anna kept her tone calm. And what kind of people am I? That's when the shop's door burst open. Robert Albright stepped in, flawless suit, and a smile made to crush anyone's confidence. "Who let the homeless woman walk in here?" he asked, voice dripping with contempt. "Don't tell me you came for a car part. Carla, why is there a vagrant in my dealership? Sir, she insists she came to pick up an order." "An order?" He laughed, humorless. "This woman doesn't have enough money for a single bolt." "I'm a mechanic," Anna said firmly, "and the part is my order." Robert laughed again, loud enough for the whole shop to hear. "A mechanic? You? That's the funniest thing I've heard all week." 3 mechanics drifted closer, drawn by the provocation. "She says she's a mechanic," he mocked. "Look at her, like she just rolled around in the dirt." Anna took a deep breath. She pulled from her pocket a folded diploma, its paper worn with time. "Mechanical Engineering, University of São Paulo. Graduated with honors." The laughter died. Robert grabbed the document, turning it in his hands, checking stamps. His face shifted from sarcasm to irritation. Even if it's real, a diploma doesn't prove skill. These days, anyone can buy a piece of paper like this. Anna slipped the diploma back, tired of fighting the same prejudice over and over. That's when his eyes narrowed, as if setting a trap. "My Ferrari 488 GTB has been sitting here for 3 weeks. 5 mechanics tried. All gave up. If the doctor here fixes it, I'll pay you 100 grand on the spot." The silence that followed was heavy. It wasn't just a bet. It was a duel. If you fail, not only do you leave here broke, but you'll apologize to everyone for this woman mechanic nonsense. "Ciao." Murmurs spread like fire through dry grass. 100 grand? Boss has lost his mind, whispered a mechanic, wide-eyed. Carla raised her phone, her voice sharp and echoing through the shop. "I'll call security to throw her out." "No need." Anna stepped forward, eyes locked on Robert's. "I accept." The silence deepened. Nobody believed what they had just heard. "You really accept?" he pressed, eyebrow raised. "Because when you fail, and you will, it'll prove women don't belong in a shop. I accept, but when I succeed, you'll admit in front of everyone that you were wrong." Robert smirked and extended his hand. "Deal, and get ready, because your humiliation will be public." The handshake was cold, harsh. Anna felt the roughness of his fingers, and John thought, hands that never saw a real day's work. "Take the doctor to the Ferrari," Robert ordered. "I want everyone to see." As she walked, Anna heard the venomous whispers. "She's gonna crash and burn. 100 grand down the drain. This is gonna be fun to watch." Premium Motors looked like a temple of speed. Polished floors, equipment worth more than a family car, and at the center, like a living sculpture, a Ferrari 488 GTB, red as sin. Anna approached slowly, almost in reverence. Since childhood, she had dreamed of machines like this, back when her father showed her faded car magazines. "There's the doctor's challenge," John teased. Twin-turbo V8, 670 horsepower, injection system as complex as a NASA rocket. The hood opened. The engine was perfection, but her eyes instantly caught something wrong. "What are the symptoms?" she asked. "Loss of power, stuttering on acceleration, insane fuel consumption," Robert said, surrounded by onlookers. 5 mechanics tried. All gave up. Anna touched each part, feeling heat and vibration with the precision of a musician tuning an instrument. Injection module replaced? Obviously, John replied with disdain. Oxygen sensor. Swap 2, fuel pump. Same story. She asked more questions. The answers came quickly. They had tried almost everything. Almost. Can I start the engine? Go ahead, but it'll be the same as for the others. The interior reeked of leather and exclusivity. Turning the key, the engine roared, but wounded. The irregularity was subtle, yet it screamed to trained ears. She shut it off, stepped out, every gaze fixed on her, waiting for defeat. I already found the problem. Laughter sliced the air. You? Robert mocked. She pointed to a tiny part. Knock sensor with intermittent failure. It doesn't show up on standard tests. John narrowed his eyes. That doesn't line up with the symptoms. Oh, it does. And more. You replaced the module but forgot to update the software. The factory released a patch to fix a compatibility issue with the ignition system. Robert turned toward John, who had gone pale, as if punched in the gut. Is that true? Robert asked, his voice swallowing his own insecurity. I didn't know about that update, John muttered, trying to hide his embarrassment. Anna allowed herself a brief smile, the first since she stepped into the shop. Do you have the part, or should I order it? John raised a hand, as if asking for a truce. Wait, how do you even know this? How are you so sure that's the problem? Her eyes stayed locked, steady as steel. Because I know what I'm doing, and you're about to find that out. The Ferrari's hood slammed shut with a metallic echo that cut through the silence of the shop. The challenge was on. But Anna knew this duel was only warming up. As she leaned over the engine, a memory pulled her back in time. 15 years earlier, when she was just 8, she discovered the passion that would drive her, and the resistance she would face. Anna, come here, sweetheart, called Peter, her father, his voice conspiratorial, making sure her mother wasn't nearby. I want to show you something. They went down to the modest garage in the neighborhood of East Side. The smell of grease and burnt oil hung in the air. To her, it was the smell of home, of safety. Take a look at this engine, Peter said, opening the hood of a '74 Beetle. Every part here has a mission. It's like the car's heart, pumping life to everything else. Her eyes lit up. She climbed onto a box to get a better view. The rumble of the running engine vibrated through her chest. Love at first sight. Can I touch it, Dad? You can. But careful, hot engines burn. Her small hand slid among the hot parts, feeling the machine's pulse. In that moment, she decided she'd spend her life there, among gears. Can you teach me to fix cars? Peter hesitated. Pride wrestled with concern across his face. This isn't for girls. Your mom will kill me if she finds out. Why isn't it for girls? I have hands. I have a brain. What's the difference? The difference is, on this path, people will try to knock you down every single day. I don't care, Anna said, with the pure certainty of someone who believes the world can be conquered. I want to learn, and so, for 2 years, every Saturday belonged to her and her father. While her mother went to the market, they locked themselves in the garage. Peter taught her about pistons, crankshafts, fuel injection systems. She absorbed every detail as if tomorrow didn't exist. This girl has golden hands, he bragged to his friends. She can diagnose an engine just by its sound, but every secret eventually comes to light. One morning, Mary, her mother, came downstairs and caught her daughter dismantling a carburetor like a pro. Peter, what are you doing? She shouted, her voice echoing through the house. Are you trying to raise a daughter who looks like some greasy shop mechanic? Girls are supposed to play with dolls, learn to cook, prepare to be wives and mothers. She unloaded, crushing her daughter's dream with every word. I won't raise a woman nobody will want. At 17, Anna decided she didn't need approval. She signed up for the entrance exam to study mechanical engineering at USP. "You've lost your mind," Mary repeated. "Engineering is for men. You'll graduate and never find a job." On exam day, she walked into the room like stepping into a boxing ring. Out of 200 candidates, she was the only woman. The stares were the warning of what was to come. "Think you're lost," mocked a tall blonde guy, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Nursing is in the building next door." I ran home with my heart pounding like it wanted to leap out of my chest. The name on the acceptance list still burned in my mind, like a dream come true. But the door had barely shut behind me when I heard my mother's icy verdict. "Congratulations, Anna. You've just thrown your life away." College greeted me with the same coldness. On the first day of class, the professor smirked and dropped a joke that still echoes in my head. "We have a lady among us. I hope she's not here looking for a husband. Engineers don't have time for romance." The collective laughter cut like a blade. I held my posture, but inside it was as if someone had erased my name from where I dreamed of being. In group projects, they never let me touch the technical parts. I was the presenter. For 5 years, I swam against the current. Cheap jokes, doubtful looks, sabotaged projects. I doubled my study hours, swallowed my pride, and refused to give in. On graduation day, I heard my name called as the top student in the class, and I smiled, briefly. The first job came at a small repair shop in East Side. Mr. Anthony believed in me, but the customers didn't. "Call a real mechanic to check my car." "Are you sure you know what you're doing, miss? This car cost 40 grand. I'd rather wait for the guy to come back." Each rejection was a stab, but when they let me work, I delivered results. I fixed engines nobody else wanted to touch. Even so, 6 months later, Mr. Anthony pulled me aside. "You're excellent, but I'm losing clients. They don't want a woman working on their cars." The second job, at a dealership, tested every ounce of my patience. Mark, the boss, looked at me like I was a manufacturing defect. "Mechanics is about technical knowledge," I told him. "Knowledge. Women think with emotion. How could you solve complex problems?" For 8 months, I endured provocations and near impossible assignments. I completed them all, but the criticism was automatic. "Took you too long. Too expensive." When I confronted him, the answer was sharp. "Sexism? No, I'm protecting the company's reputation." The third job seemed like a dream and turned into rock bottom. An imported car shop, only mechanics with international certifications, which I also had. But here, that was irrelevant. "Send the little lady." They laughed. "She's an engineer. She must know everything." The breaking point came with a BMW 7 Series. Active suspension, delicate service. I studied every diagram, prepared everything, executed flawlessly. On the test, it failed. Worse, "I told you women don't belong here." The supervisor barked for everyone to hear. "Who's going to pay for the damage?" I tore through every part, every line of the manual. Hours later, the truth. Someone had swapped a fuse for another with the wrong amperage. Sabotage. And when I pointed it out, the final blow came. "You're paranoid. Must have been your mistake." They had scarred her name like a diamond scratching glass. Permanent. Irreversible. On the report, they wrote, "Technical incompetence." In shop talk across the automotive world, the rumor spread like wildfire. The female engineer who ruined a $300,000 BMW. From that moment on, doors that were once heavy became solid walls. No repair shop would even let her shadow cross their entrance. So Anna did the unthinkable. She built her own battleground. A shack in the backyard became a workshop, put together with every penny she had scraped together. It wasn't just a job. It was her chance to prove that knowledge has no gender. The first months were harsh. Empty plates, empty pockets. She survived on basic services, oil changes, routine checkups, small diagnostics. But when the garage door closed at night, the bedroom light stayed on. Anna studied relentlessly, took online courses, mastered hybrid engines and electronic systems that most mechanics refused to even touch. Over time, the rumors shifted. The impossible cases started showing up at her door. She fixed them all, each repair another brick in the reputation she was building. That reputation is what put her face to face with a red Ferrari at Premium Motors, a car that had already defeated 5 specialists. When Anna stood before that hood, every year of humiliation and rejection pressed down on her shoulders. But with it came certainty. This was her arena. "All right, doctor," sneered Roberto Almeida, arms crossed, voice dripping with venom. "You said you found the problem. Prove it." A crowd gathered in the corners, employees, clients, curious onlookers, even mechanics from other shops who had been invited to witness what many believed would be her ultimate humiliation. "I'll need specific tools," Anna said firmly, "and 1 uninterrupted hour." 1 hour? Joan laughed. 5 specialists spent weeks here, sweetheart. Roberto kept his smug grin. "Give her the tools, Joan. Let's see this comedy all the way through." Anna listed tools many of them had never even heard of. The proprietary Ferrari scanner, a high-precision multimeter, special wrenches for European sensors. With every request, eyebrows rose. "She knows what she's asking for," someone whispered. "Or she memorized a list off the internet." Another shot back. With calculated movements, Anna connected the scanner to the Ferrari. Error codes lined up on the screen. She read them in seconds. Padlarov knock sensor failure. P0161. Lean mixture on bank 1. Paisthuru 300. Random misfire. "We already knew all that," Joan interrupted. "That's why we swapped out the parts." "You replaced symptoms," Anna replied coldly. "But you never looked for the cause." She popped the hood, pointed at a sensor. "This isn't an original Ferrari part." "What?" Roberto leaned in, suddenly attentive. She carefully removed the piece and held it up like evidence. "Code FF237B. The genuine part is FF37C8. 1 digit makes all the difference." Silence fell heavy over the shop. "Counterfeit part," she concluded, "and because it's out of spec, it feeds false data straight into the injection module." "Where did it come from?" Roberto's voice was no longer mocking. It was laced with worry. Anna grabbed the box it came in. "The packaging says Ferrari Genuine, but the barcode tells another story." She scanned it. "Supplier, Auto Parts Milano." "Never heard of them," Joan muttered. "I have. They sell near-perfect fakes. Their only flaw? 1 digit off." The air in the workshop grew heavier. If Anna was right, this wasn't just a repair. It was fraud. Roberto's expression twisted between disbelief and barely contained rage. "You're telling me they put fake parts in my car?" Anna didn't flinch. "I'm not telling you. I'm proving it." She drew her phone like a gunslinger drawing a revolver. Her fingers dialed without hesitation. "Hello, Ferrari Brazil. This is Anna Souza, mechanical engineer. I need urgent confirmation." As she fired off technical details, her tone was razor-sharp, her authority undeniable. Even if few understood her words, everyone understood one thing. Anna owned the room. "Thanks," she said, ending the call. All the official servicing used original parts, except one. The knock sensor was replaced 3 months ago, but not here. "That's impossible," Roberto exploded. "I only ever service at Premium Motors." Anna turned to John, the mechanic. I've never touched that part," he muttered, hesitant. The air grew heavy, as if even the sound of tools had vanished. Anna popped the hood fully, inspecting every corner of the engine like a detective at a crime scene. "Look at this," she said, pointing to the connections. "Regular soldering, nothing suited for automotive electronics." One mechanic tried to downplay it. "So what? So it messes with the electrical resistance." It throws off the injection module. The problem disappears and comes back until it finally breaks. Using a flashlight, she highlighted barely visible scratches on an injection component, tool marks where there shouldn't be any. Someone forced this connection. Are you implying it was us? John tried to sound firm, but his voice cracked. Not implying. Evidence. She shot back, showing a photo on her phone. The verdict? Roberto asked, his voice barely a whisper. 3 counterfeit parts, multiple botched connections, and the risk of having to reprogram the whole system. The color drained from Roberto's face. 20,000, on top of the 100,000 I'm already paying. The problem isn't me, Anna said sharply. It's whoever did this to your car. All eyes turned to John. I didn't do anything. It must have been... Who? Roberto cut in, ice in his tone. An emergency shop. 4 months ago. The car broke down in Campinas. Taui, and they fixed it the same day. Anna's gaze locked on him. Within a few hours, Anna exchanged a look with Roberto. If I'm right, that's where they installed the fake parts, and maybe even stole the originals to sell on the black market. The statement hit like a punch to everyone's chest. The silence that followed carried the weight of a revealed crime. Roberto felt his anger morph into something darker. The cold certainty of a calculated scam. That's criminal. Roberto's voice came out quieter than intended, as if the weight of the revelation had stolen his breath. It is. Anna didn't take her eyes off the car. And more common than you'd think. He blinked a few times, trying to process. So, can you fix my car or not? For the first time since entering Premium Motors, the corner of her mouth lifted. I can, but it'll take original parts and time. How long? 2 days. And it'll cost the 20,000 I mentioned, plus the 100,000 you promised. Roberto drew a deep breath, anger simmering under his skin. 120,000 to fix something that shouldn't even exist. If you wait, soon you'll be paying 200,000. She was blunt. Fake parts destroy everything around them. He nodded, heavy. Fine, do it. But I want to watch everything. No problem. Full transparency. As she organized her tools, Anna felt a rare satisfaction. It wasn't about the money. It was about proving, in front of everyone, that she was there on merit. Diagnosing was easy. Convincing Roberto was tough. But the real test was about to begin. Bringing that Ferrari back to life, in front of the ones who doubted her. Her movements were almost choreographed. The precision of a surgeon. The crowd, once eager to see her fail, now watched in silence. First part, she said, holding up a counterfeit knock sensor. Installed about 3 months ago. How do you know? Roberto leaned in. By the screw oxidation. Originals don't rust like this. The part went onto an isolated tray. Second part, air-fuel mixture control module. She flipped the component. Reconditioned, Milano Auto Parts. Reconditioned. His anger flared, and used. With every part she removed, the scam became clearer. This wasn't carelessness. It was deliberate. Third part, she pulled out an ignition component, inspecting it closely. Ferrari serial number. So it's original? John asked. It would be, if it hadn't been engraved over another number. She handed the magnifying glass to Roberto. Can you see it? Yes. There's another number underneath. The air felt heavy. Your original parts were stolen, she said, and replaced with fakes. Whoever did this knows exactly what they're doing. His phone vibrated. Unknown number. Hello? Mr. Roberto Albright, a firm male voice said. This is Officer Noguera from Campinas. I need you to come to the station today. It's about your Ferrari. What happened? We uncovered an auto parts theft ring. Your car is on the list of targeted vehicles. Roberto slowly hung up, as if the weight of the call had paralyzed his fingers. Anna, the Campinas police want to talk to me about a stolen parts scheme. She didn't look surprised. I believe it. Actually, I was expecting this. Expecting? Yes, because before anything, I already made a call. The workshop air turned tense. What call? Roberto leaned forward. To the Civil Police, Property Crimes Division. I reported suspected possession of stolen auto parts. At that moment, John began slipping away, almost unnoticed. John, where are you going? Roberto asked. Just a quick thing. I'll be right back. Anna followed him with her eyes. Serious. Don't let him leave. Why? Because he knows more than he admits. John, come back here, Roberto shouted, but he was already running toward the door. He got away, Anna said calmly, just as I suspected. Suspected what? That he's the informant, probably the one pointing out luxury cars for parts theft. Roberto looked as if he didn't recognize his own employee. But he's worked here 5 years, always trustworthy. Exactly. Trusted people are perfect for this kind of scheme. He knew when you traveled, had access to your car, and used it against you. The pieces fell into place in her mind. The Dudums, the Campina's shop, didn't fix the problem quickly because of skill. They already knew what was wrong, because they created the problem. Created? John must have sabotaged something before your trip, forcing you to stop at the right shop. Roberto sank into the chair, drained. Unbelievable. More common than you think. There's an entire network for this. The door opened. 2 men in suits entered. One held up his badge. Officer Noguera, Civil Police of Campinas. Who is Roberto Albright? Me. And who made the report? Me, Anna said. Mechanical engineer. Do you have experience identifying tampered parts? 15 years. Great. Can we see the evidence? Anna laid out every part she'd removed from the Ferrari, explaining the details and irregularities. The officer took meticulous notes. Impressive. Your analysis will be crucial for our investigation. What investigation? Roberto asked. A gang specializing in stealing luxury car parts. Your car was on their target list. Anna spoke up. One employee ran off when you came in. I suspect he's an informant. Name? John Santos. Roberto replied. The officer exchanged a quick glance with his investigator. He's already on our list. We have an arrest warrant. Roberto drew a deep breath, stunned. So, it's true. As the team collected evidence, Anna continued dismantling the Ferrari with near-surgical precision. Each part was photographed, catalogued, and packed. The officer approached, his voice firm. Miss Anna, would you consider acting as a technical consultant for the police? Freelance work, and well paid. The proposal echoed in Anna's mind like an invitation to step through a door she never imagined existed. Using her expertise to track down criminals. This was more than a job. It was a mission. Can I think about it? She asked, still processing the offer. Of course. The officer handed her a card. Call when you decide. 2 hours later, they left with the evidence. The workshop felt like a powder keg. Mechanics whispering, clients leaning in to catch every detail. What started as a simple repair now carried the weight of a criminal investigation. Anna, Roberto approached, his voice heavy with regret. I need to apologize. For what? For doubting you. For thinking a woman couldn't handle mechanics. Thank you for acknowledging that. It's not just that. You saved my car, uncovered a crime, and helped the police. You did in hours what 5 mechanics couldn't in weeks. They did what they knew, she said calmly. But sometimes knowing isn't enough. And you, how do you know so much? Because I never stopped learning. And because I can't, was never an answer I accepted. As she lined up her tools for the final task, she felt something different in the air. It wasn't just about proving she could do it. It was about leaving a mark that couldn't be erased. Mr. Roberto, may I ask something personal? Sure. Why were you so cruel to me at the start? He hesitated before answering. Because I'd never seen a real female mechanic. I thought you were faking it. And now? Now I know the one pretending to understand mechanics was me. You're the real professional. You know the difference between us? Anna said firmly. What? You were born with the chance to have it all. I was born knowing I'd have to fight for everything. Did that make you a better mechanic? It made me a better person, and better people make better mechanics. It was then she found the final obstacle, the main engine control module, hidden like a secret no one wanted revealed. Found the final problem. It was reprogrammed incorrectly. Reprogrammed? Roberto frowned. They altered the engine parameters. That's why it never ran right. I'm resetting everything from scratch. It'll take about an hour. Need a hand? I need silence. The workshop went still. Everyone watched Anna's fingers move swiftly across the keyboard, inputting codes most didn't even know how to pronounce. Does she really know what she's doing? A mechanic whispered. She knows more than all of us combined. Came the reply. 40 minutes later, she stepped back. Done. Original factory system restored. And now? Roberto held his breath. Now we see if 15 years of struggle were worth it. Anna ran her hand over the Ferrari's hood like she was soothing a skittish animal. What are you doing? Someone dared to ask, letting the engine know that now someone actually cares about it. She climbed into the car, adjusted the seat. In the rearview mirror, 20 frozen faces. She held the key, closed her eyes, whispered a small prayer, and turned it. What came next would be etched into everyone's memory. The V8 roared like a beast freed from chains. The sound filled the workshop, vibrating through the floor, smashing against the walls like a proud, unmistakable thunderclap. Anna twisted the key with precision and pressed the accelerator. The roar that followed wasn't just engine noise. It was a clean, tuned growl, like an athlete breathing effortlessly after shedding an invisible weight. It was the response she had been waiting for. Immediate, smooth, and full of power. She shut off the car and stepped out, letting the door click firmly. For a few seconds, no one breathed. Then, as if the pent-up tension had finally snapped, the workshop erupted into spontaneous, vibrant applause. Holy God, Roberto muttered, voice trembling. I've never heard my car sing like that. Because it's never worked like it should, Anna replied, calmly wiping grease from her hands almost ceremonially. Now it does. The mechanics approached slowly, as if afraid the moment would vanish if they rushed. Those who had mocked her that morning now avoided eye contact for more than 2 seconds. Paolo, the oldest on the team, stepped forward. Would you teach me how to diagnose a Ferrari? Anna measured his gaze. She knew he had been one of the biggest jokers. I can, but it'll take years, and you'll have to study more than you imagine. I'm ready. Today I realized how much I still don't know. Others soon followed, asking for tips, acknowledging their earlier prejudice. Sorry for doubting you, one of them murmured. What matters is that we learn together, Anna said without a trace of resentment. It was then that Roberto returned, a thick envelope in his hands. 100,000, as agreed, and another 20,000 for exposing the fraud. She took it, but didn't smile. Can I make a suggestion? Go ahead. Invest part of this money in a training program, advanced diagnostics, counterfeit parts identification, quality methods. He raised his eyebrows. And you'd teach the classes? Yes. That way we prevent other mechanics from going through what your team went through today. Humiliation? They didn't fail for lack of skill, but for lack of opportunity. They're just as much victims as you are. Roberto went silent, absorbing the impact. I've always blamed them, but never taught them. Then start now. She swept her gaze over the space. Expensive tools, modern scanners, powerful computers, all underutilized. It's like having a full orchestra and only playing one birthday song. What do you mean? Paolo asked. These machines can map an entire car, measure combustion, predict wear, but you have to know how to use them. A mechanic stepped forward, incredulous. You can't learn that in basic training, right? No. That's why so many people stay stuck at the basics. Anna saw, right there, the chance to transform. Not just the workshop, but the whole mindset. Roberto, besides the training, change the way you deal with customers. Transparency builds trust. Like, show the work, explain the problem, prove why the price is fair. Interesting? And specialize. Focus on brands that almost no one else masters. Which ones? Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati. And you know how to handle all of them? A corner of a smile appeared. I spent 6 months at an official Ferrari dealership in Modena. Augusto's jaw dropped, as if struck by an invisible blow. Maya held her gaze steady, like someone dismantling an engine with words alone. It wasn't that I knew less. It's that you never asked. The statement landed heavy, silencing the entire workshop. Here it wasn't just about skill. It was a professional with international recognition. She took a deep breath and continued. Third point, change the culture here. Zero tolerance for prejudiced remarks. Judging by appearance. That ends now. Augusto nodded, turning to the team. It's decided. Anyone making discriminatory comments will be fired. Maya didn't stop. Fourth, hire more women. There are plenty of talented mechanics who never get opportunities because of plain sexism. Are there really that many? Augusto asked, half incredulous. She laughed, irony in her voice. You just saw a woman solve in a few hours what 5 men couldn't in weeks. And you're still asking. At that moment, Fernanda, the receptionist, cautiously approached. How did you endure being treated so badly for so long? Maya looked at her. This was the same girl who had been the first to show her disdain. Every time someone said I couldn't do it, I stored that as fuel. Every no became a challenge. Fernanda's eyes welled up. I'm sorry for how I acted in the beginning. I understand, Maya replied calmly. You were just repeating what you always saw. Men in the workshop, women at the front desk. But that's no excuse. Then she turned to everyone. My father used to say competence has no gender, color, or social class. An engine doesn't care who fixes it. It just wants to run. Was your father a mechanic too? Carlos asked. He was. The air was thick with respect, and that's why I know today that he would be proud of me. He definitely would, Augusto said, visibly moved. Any father would. The buzz of a phone broke the moment. Yes, it's her. This is Carla Santos from TV Globo. I heard you solved an important stolen auto parts case. Can we interview you? Maya raised an eyebrow. Sure. She hung up, still surprised. Everyone, TV Globo is coming here. A wave of voices erupted in the workshop. You're going to be famous, someone shouted. Augusto stepped forward. This is our chance to showcase the new philosophy of Premium Motors. What philosophy? Competence, transparency, equality. You brought this to us. Maya smiled, moved. So you really changed your mind. I changed my mind about everything. Prejudice is not just wrong. It's bad business. If I had hired you earlier, I'd have saved a lot and had a better team. That's why I want to make an official proposal. Augusto called everyone closer. From today, Maya Silva is our new technical partner. Applause echoed. Let's focus on high-performance Italian cars, create ongoing training programs, and hire more women, he announced. And be transparent with clients, Maya added. No inflated estimates or unnecessary services. Agreed. 20% of the company, $15,000 in salary, and full technical autonomy. Just one more condition, she said. I accept, whatever it is. August replied, smiling. Handshake. More applause. Now let's get ready. I want Premium Motors to be an example of positive change. While the TV crew hadn't arrived yet, Maya took the opportunity to walk through the workshop like she was inspecting a rare engine, attentive to details and genuinely interested. This wasn't just about tightening bolts or swapping parts. She wanted to understand the heart of the team. She stopped in front of Charles, the most senior mechanic. His hands, marked by decades of grease and metal, told a story he had never put into words. "Charles, how long have you been living in this world of engines?" she asked, half smiling. He answered shyly, and before he could change the subject, she went straight to the point. "And your biggest professional dream?" He averted his gaze, embarrassed. "No one's ever asked me that." "Well, I'm asking now." Charles hesitated, then sighed. "I've always wanted to work on a Formula One team, but that's impossible." "Why impossible?" Her voice carried curiosity, not judgment. "Because I don't have advanced electronics training, and I don't understand aerodynamics the way they require." Maya smiled slightly. "Charles, you already have the talent. You just need the right guidance." He blinked quickly, hiding the spark in his eyes. "Are you serious? More serious than an engine at 300 km/h. Her hand landed firmly on his shoulder, like sealing a silent pact. That's when the TV Globo crew arrived, right on time. Carla Santos, the reporter, a cameraman with the camera already rolling, and a sound technician adjusting microphones. "Maya Silva, what a pleasure," Carla said, extending her hand. "The pleasure is mine, but I must say, it was a team effort." The interview began, and between technical questions and personal stories came the one Carla had been waiting for. "What message would you give to women who dream of working in mechanics?" Maya faced the camera, as if speaking directly to the viewer on the other side. "Don't give up. Competence has no gender. If you're passionate about engines, go for it. The world needs you. And to employers who still harbor prejudice, stop wasting talent. Prejudice isn't just wrong. It's economic stupidity." When the lights went out, Carla smiled and asked more privately, "And now what's the next step?" "Transform this workshop into a center of excellence." "Can I follow this transformation?" Maya exchanged a glance with August, who nodded without hesitation. "You can. It will be an honor." The crew left. The sound of tools filled the space again, but the air felt different. There was new energy. There was a future. "Maya," Fernanda's voice was low, almost conspiratorial. "Can I ask you a personal question?" "Of course. Aren't you afraid all of this is just a moment? That tomorrow they'll treat you the way they did before?" Maya smiled calmly, though the marks of countless battles lingered in her expression. "Fernanda, I've carried that fear for 15 years, but today I realized something that changed everything." "What's that?" "What truly matters isn't how others treat me. It's how I treat myself. And for the first time in 15 years, I feel proud of the woman I see in the mirror. And if someone tries to humiliate you again, then they'll find out I'm no longer alone." Her steady gaze swept across the workshop. "I now have a professional family that respects me." The door opened and August walked in, holding his phone as if it were still hot from a call. "Maya, I just received an interesting proposal." "From whom?" "From the owner of the largest network of workshops in São Paulo. He wants to know if you'd be willing to serve as the technical consultant for the entire network." Maya froze for a moment, surprised. "And what did you say?" "That the decision is yours. But if you accept, you'll have my full support." She took a deep breath, looking around. Hours earlier, she had walked in as a discredited, humiliated woman, thirsty for recognition. Now she faced a future she had never imagined. "August, I accept being a consultant, but I won't give up continuing here." "Well, why?" "Because this place is my turning point." The day had begun with a cruel bet. 100,000 reais for whoever could fix a Ferrari no one else could. It ended with something far more valuable. Proof that competence has no gender, and respect isn't begged for. It's earned. Maya cast one last glance at the red Ferrari, now purring like a contented animal. It wasn't just the engine that was alive. It was the sound of a change that would echo for a long time. 6 months later, Maya sat in her new office at Premium Motors, reviewing the contracts of 3 new hires arriving the following week. All women, all highly qualified, all hired for talent, not appearance. The workshop had changed. Certificates and team photos adorned the walls, along with a golden plaque that read, Premium Motors Center of Technical Excellence, Specialists in Italian Supercars. Maya, I finished the diagnosis on the Lamborghini that came in early. It's the active suspension control module. Maya smiled, they're proud. Fernanda, 6 months ago, this would have been unthinkable. Fernanda sat down. You know what impresses me most? At first, some men would wrinkle their noses when they saw us working on their cars. And now they ask for us. They say we're more careful, more detail-oriented. Ana Souza laughed. Carla, it's not because we're women. It's because we were trained properly, and we work with passion. But the result is the same. Respect. Then the door opened and Paul came in carrying a folder and a radiant smile. Ana. She almost let her coffee slip from her hand. Latin America. Exactly. Robert could barely contain his smile. We are now the official Ferrari reference for Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Colombia, and Peru. He leaned forward, voice full of excitement. And there's more. They want you to go to Maranello next month. Isn't it Modena? No. Maranello, Ferrari's home. 3 weeks inside the factory, working side by side with the engineers who create these machines. Techniques that haven't even made it into the manual. Ana felt her body go heavy. She had to sit. Maranello wasn't just a destination. It was the Olympus of any Ferrari mechanic, like a musician being called to perform at Carnegie Hall. The door opened and Mantle walked in, holding a magazine. You need to see this. He flipped it open to the cover of Exam, the 50 most influential women in Brazil. And there she was, in the first row of faces. This must be a mistake, she muttered. It's not. Robert flipped to her page. They talk about how you broke barriers, opened doors for other women, and transformed a traditional workshop into a benchmark of innovation. Carla, standing beside him, peeked over his shoulder. They even interviewed your mother. Ana found the passage. Today, I'm proud of my daughter. She proved that a woman can be anything she wants to be, said Conceição Souza. Tears came before she could stop them. The same mother who years ago had burned her overalls, now publicly declared pride. Ana. Robert's voice was softer than usual. Can I say something? Of course. That day you didn't just fix my Ferrari. You fixed the way I see people. At that moment, Julia, the youngest on the team, appeared at the door. Sorry to interrupt, but we have a special client. What kind? Ana asked. A 16-year-old girl with her father. She wants to work with cars, but he thinks it's nonsense. Ana exchanged glances with Carla, Paul, and Robert. They all remembered their own stories. Where are they? In the reception area. They went down together. In the waiting room, a middle-aged man, impatient, stood next to a determined-looking teenage girl. Good afternoon. Ana introduced herself. I'm Ana Souza, technical partner of the company. How can I help? My daughter has this crazy idea about working with cars. I brought her here to show her it's not a woman's thing. Dad, the girl protested. What's your name? Ana asked, with gentle firmness. Isabella. I've been taking toys apart since I was little to see how they work. I want to be a mechanical engineer. The father rolled his eyes. Ana held his gaze, the same steel-hard look she had given Robert 6 months ago. Do you realize who you're talking to? Ana asked, not raising her voice, but with a weight that made the workshop air feel heavier. The owner of the workshop, I suppose. Almost there. The corner of her lips curved into a smile that was anything but friendly. The man hesitated, unsure whether it was a warning or a provocation. More than that, Ana gestured to the group behind her. This is Carla. 6 months ago, she answered phones and served coffee. Today, she's a specialist in complex diagnostics. That's SIM, a mechanical engineer who became an industry reference, and I can guarantee everyone here not only knows what they're doing, they do it better than many high-end workshops. The man blinked, not knowing where to look. I had no idea. Anna then turned to the teenage girl beside him. Isabella up for a challenge? What kind? Her voice carried curiosity and a hint of nerves. I want you to listen to a Ferrari engine and tell me what you think is wrong. Surprise lit up the girl's face. Let's go. They walked over to a black Ferrari, polished until the roof reflected like liquid glass. Anna started the engine. The sound filled the garage with a deep, powerful growl. Can you notice anything when I accelerate? She asked, keeping the rev steady. Isabella furrowed her brow, tilting her head slightly, like decoding a foreign language. It sounds like a misalignment in the exhaust. The note is broken, not continuous. Anna shut off the engine and looked at the girl with a genuine smile. Perfect. That's exactly it. A small misalignment in the exhaust system. We'll fix it tomorrow. Isabella's eyes went wide. I really got it right. And precisely. You have the ear and instinct for this. Her father remained still, looking at his daughter as if he had never really seen her until that moment. Mouth open, pride, and amazement competing for space on his face. The hug between father and daughter was so tight, it seemed to erase years of emotional distance. Thank you, Dad. I'll work really hard, Isabella said, her voice trembling with emotion. Anna watched, feeling her chest warm. That scene was like revisiting her own past, but with an ending she never had. Isabella, she called, handing her a card. When you're in your final year of high school, give me a call. I want to talk about your future. The young girl held the card, as if she had just received a key to a dream. I promise, she said. After they left, Anna stood for a few moments, taking in the sounds of the workshop. Tools clinking, engines humming, men and women side by side, working as equals, learning, teaching, and respecting each other. Robert stepped forward with a half-smile. I got an interesting proposal. A proposal? Anna raised an eyebrow. They want the two of us to give a talk. A talk about what? About how we transformed an ordinary shop into a national benchmark, using diversity and inclusion as key components. Anna paused to reflect. Do you really think our story can inspire? No doubt about it. And it's not just inspiration, he said. Our revenue increased 400%. Customer satisfaction hit 98%. Nobody quit. And all this in less than 6 months. Carla appeared, holding a tablet, her face glowing. You need to see this. What happened? Anna asked, moving closer. Messages on the company website, women from all over the country sending resumes, asking for guidance, and sharing stories of discrimination they've faced. How many? I lost count. They keep coming every minute. Anna's eyes sparkled. Each of these messages is a woman refusing to give up on her dreams. And what are we going to do? Carla asked. Answer them all, one by one, and help each of them find their path. Robert smiled. Anna, you were the spark that started all this. Not alone. Everyone here played a part. But you were the spark, living proof that change is possible. He then turned to the team, clapping his hands to get their attention. Everyone, I have something important to announce. The sound of tools stopped. Within seconds, everyone gathered around, curious. The silence that filled the shop was unlike any I had ever heard before. It wasn't the heavy silence of a mistake, nor the dull silence of routine. It was the silence of anticipation. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility, and at the same time, the lightness of knowing I was exactly where I was meant to be. You know why all of this happened? I asked, looking into each face around me. It wasn't because we fixed cars faster, or because we used newer techniques. It's because we believed every person who walked through that door mattered. Every voice deserved to be heard. Every dream deserved a chance. I could see it in their eyes. They understood. This wasn't just about engines and tools. This was about transforming lives. Robert put his hand on my shoulder. "So what's next, Anna?" I smiled. "What's next is simple. We keep going. We keep opening doors, inspiring people, and proving every single day that diversity isn't just a nice idea. It's results, it's strength, it's the future." Carla held up the tablet again. "And what about these messages that just keep pouring in?" I looked at her, then back at the team. "Those messages are a cry for help, and we're going to answer. We'll show them no one has to face this journey alone. If even one woman believes in herself a little more after reaching out to us, then it's already worth it." The whole group burst into applause. Some were holding back tears, others simply smiling with pride. I closed my eyes for a moment and let that sound wash over me. This wasn't a personal victory. It was something bigger. It was collective. It was real. As everyone went back to work, I stayed still for a moment, watching the rhythm of the shop, the smell of oil, the hum of engines, the steady clink of tools on metal. But above all, the sound of voices, men and women working side by side, as equals. This was the future I had once only dreamed of, and now it was unfolding right in front of me. I took a deep breath, and with a smile I thought, this is only the beginning of our story, and if this story resonated with you, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below about what inspired you the most. And of course, stick around for the next video, because this journey is just getting started.